Hello and welcome to the show. Got a jam-packed hour of Notts news and natter on the way for you tonight, including these Beeston Badminton bosses.
It's a real sense of community. There's a lot of fun. There's a variety of abilities, which means that you get a good change of games, really.
Also on the way, we're bringing you a brand new gin flavoured with Nottinghamshire's most famous fruit, the Bramley apple, and we're testing out some rare tequila too.
You probably want to select your barrel. You've got a few choices there, 6 choices, and it was an amazing experience, amazing product, and I thought bringing something back to the public here would be quite special.
Plus, Notts County defender Matt Tootle's iconic slug celebration could be extinct. But what's next?
The dinosaur, if the dinosaur one. What a dinosaur.
And it's terrific to be joined by two incredible Nottinghamshire people. She travelled thousands of miles from St Kitts to bring her charisma and Caribbean collection to Notts. It's the one and only Catherine Ross. And this man's hot property making his debut on the show is community icon Luchavan Lamard. Give him a round of applause. Luchavan, welcome to the show. Like I just said, it's your debut. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, basically, my name is Beeston Badminton. I'm a local entrepreneur, and I provide a full contracting service to anyone in the local community.
Yeah, and am I right in thinking you do your bit to try and get young people into jobs? Is that right?
Yes, so I offer work experience and apprenticeships to young adults from deprived backgrounds.
Incredible stuff. I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and what you get up to in Nottinghamshire as the show rolls on. Can I say, Catherine literally rocked up during the titles. So can we give her a round of applause for making it in? That was nice. Got stuck in traffic. All right, next, fines for taking kids out of school for holidays during half-time, have risen faster in Notts than anywhere else in England. Last year, there were 10 times as many fines than in 2014. Plans to temporarily shelve fines when parents adjusted to new term times were dropped in January. The council's Conservative group said children who stay in school lose out because of the extra attention needed to help others catch up. It's a difficult dilemma for parents every single year when the holidays roll round. What do you make of this, Catherine?
Well, it goes to show that Nottingham, we're rich. We can afford to pay the fines, can't we?
Exactly.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And the second thing is perhaps parents are doing it because they want to broaden their children's education, take them new places, different places and so on. So I think I'm in favour of that for that reason. But as a secondary school teacher, I know every minute in the classroom counts.
Yeah.
And really, that's where they should be, especially at the critical times, which is, preparation for mock exams and so on.
Of course, as a parent, you want your child to get the best education they possibly can get. But Luchavan, when you want to take your kids on holiday, you want to take them away, and it's costing you an arm and a leg, sometimes this can be the only option, right?
Absolutely. I think travelling is very important. I think that what you can see is 1% of what's going on. By travelling and seeing the world, it actually helps you grow. And that's what turned my life around, by seeing things that I couldn't see. And the world's a big place.
It is indeed. What do you think of it?
If it's a long period of time, then I think there should definitely be something done about it. But if it's maybe, a week or so, I don't think that should be the end of the world.
So I always had to have my summer holiday during term time, because that was when my father got his time off work.
No, there shouldn't be fine for taking the kids out during term time, so long as the schooling doesn't suffer. If it suffers, then it should be looked at. Until then, it's something that really needs to be looked at seriously.
I think that if it was something that was repeatedly done, yes, but maybe just for the first occasion, a bit of a warning.
I totally disagree with it. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because if children want to go on holiday, parents take them on holiday when they want to go on holiday.
Well, life's all about experiences, and some people can't afford to take their kids out during term time, so I don't think you should deprive them the opportunity.
Mixed opinions. What do you think of this particular debate, or about anything else that we discuss on the show? Send us a text to 80818 and let us know. Start your message with the word Notts. Text the charge at your standard network rate, and if you're watching on repeat, please don't get in touch. Next, part 2 of our interview with one of the world's biggest boy bands, the Vamps. They're back playing at the arena in May and told our Kate Chaplin why their new material sounds like airy pads. It's all a mystery to me.
It's funny because, like, obviously we're very involved with the Vamps. Obviously we are the Vamps.
Are you?
Yeah. For the past 3 months, we've just been like business minded, haven't we? We've just been all about like planning the next year kind of thing. So it's actually, I've forgotten I can play drums and you play bass. So we're gonna get on that stage and it's gonna be so fun.
Ready for a bit of fun now?
Yeah. Definitely.
Nice. And so when you've been on tour for quite a while then, do you start to kind of like wind each other up on stage and stuff?
He threw a stick at me once.
Wow!
Like a drumstick just came and hit me like on the back of the head or something. I was like, what is that?
It didn't hit you.
But like if you're doing the same songs, same routines, do you ever like try and trip each other up? Like change a few words here and there?
Yeah, we mess it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just keep going and we don't know when we're going to stop. When we like carry on.
Yeah, just have a little jam after. It's good, yeah.
I guess, I mean, to be honest, you have to keep it the same because although we're playing it 300 times a year, the fans haven't seen it before, so you just got to play it as you do.
Does it ever surprise you, the reaction, and when you see people kind of singing back to you and everything?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Especially like new songs. We played one last tour, like really acoustic, and then the second day, like people had like uploaded it to YouTube, but then they knew the words to it, like to a song that they'd never heard before. So it's wicked.
Like
That's amazing. And so tell me a little bit about what we can expect this tour then.
This tour, it's new, it's different. We're taking it a different angle. I think the new sound is different to our old sound. The first album, we're kind of refreshing the old songs to sound like kind of current Vamps. So.
What is the current Vamps then? I suppose you kind of.
I think I don't really know. I think it's like to get specific, like airy pads. Like,
airy pads.
You guys
Interesting use of words there.
The first one was acoustic guitar. The first album was acoustic guitar. The second album was like more synths. This one's like airy synths.
Nice.
Atmos.
Yeah, atmosphere.
Right, if anyone asks me what the Vamps next tour is going to be like, I'm just going to say airy.
Airy pads.
Airy
you
pads.
got to get that second word in. Yeah.
Okay, pads is vital.
They're called pads.
Okay.
That's the synth.
Yeah.
Like, that's
yes.
what it's called. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just showing my lack of actual instrumental knowledge.
It's all good.
The only thing I've ever played is a trumpet, and the only thing I learnt was Pink Panther, and then I gave up after that.
Nice. All right.
you got to start somewhere. Maybe you should take it back up again.
Yeah.
And so, when are you back, guys?
1st of May.
1st of May.
1st of May, right here.
Nice.
Right now.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
1st of May.
Thank
for
you.
the airy pads.
Thank you so much. They're going to be on point that day. Yeah.
Amplified
really good.
Through the arena. It's not ready for that.
Kate Chaplin there. Now, Owen Shipton's got your Nottinghamshire news headlines.
Yeah, first, a loving, cheerful, fashionable and intelligent girl. That's how friends are describing 18-year-old Mariam Mustafa, who's died after reportedly being assaulted by a group of women. The vice principal at Nottingham College, where she studied, says staff and students there are shocked and saddened. Police are still appealing for any information you might have. Next, the family of a man who died after a 1 in 1,000 illness have raised £20,000 for Nottingham hospitals. Luke Blackburn died after a sudden bleed on the brain. Now his loved ones hope the equipment they fund could save the lives of others.
You couldn't shut him up. He was very, very bubbly. Very bubbly. He would light a room up. Very much so. Very lively.
2 years ago, Luke's family held his funeral. Now they're visiting the adult intensive care unit at the QMC to meet the staff who treated him and to present them with a cheque for more than £20,000. Tarina was working when Luke came into the unit.
We were very worried that there was something like a stroke that was going on. He had his scan, and the scan confirmed that he had blood in his brain and that he was very sick and that he probably wasn't going to survive.
The day he passed away was a day when he was supposed to be on shift at work, so all his work colleagues were working at the time, and from their perspective they started work thinking that Luke was ill.
The money his family have raised is funding essential rehabilitation equipment within the QMC. The family hope that it will save lives in the future.
The money has funded a flexible nasendoscope, which means we'll be able to do more instrumental swallowing assessments. And what we do, we gently pass the scope up the patient's nose, so that it sits at the back there, at the back of the mouth, and enables us to look down into the airway and to the top of the esophagus.
We wanted there to be a long-lasting legacy and to give something back to the adult intensive care, just to show how grateful we were for the treatment and the care and the dedication of the staff who obviously tried to save him, but unfortunately weren't able to because of the severity of the AVM. But it's hopefully going to help others and help other families and patients, and hopefully help to save somebody's life ultimately.
Next, the record-breaking play Warhorse opened to a standing ovation at the Royal Concert Hall last night. The show uses state-of-the-art puppetry to tell the incredible tale of the role horses played in the First World War. The star of the show is undoubtedly the horse itself. It runs until the 7th of April. Ian, you were there. I saw you crying at the end and throughout mostly.
Yeah, I was crying all the way through. What an incredible show. And the thing is, the puppetry was outstanding. I felt immersion towards these puppets. It was incredible.
It is incredible. And you can go to thenottstv.com to find out more about it. We've got an incredible piece where we investigate how the puppetry actually works.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there, you can hear the horses stamping. There were moments where my heart was in mouth because I was quite close to the front. I thought I was going to get trampled on.
It was fascinating.
Let's look at the weather. Tonight is starting dry, but it could get wet late on and into tomorrow morning. Overnight lows of 6 degrees. Tomorrow is rainy to begin, but there is a chance of some sun in the afternoon. Saturday, rainy, lows of 2. Cold, dropping to -2 overnight.
Does that mean the Beast is back?
The Beast could well be back.
Stay with us. When we come back, gin distilled right here in Notts and a confession from a music icon. Welcome back. We're celebrating Notts in the company of a fine county pairing. They're like Bonnie and Clyde, Batman and Robin, like cheese and wine. It's Caribbean icon Catherine Ross and a man who's getting Notts youngsters working for us loads of other stuff. It's Luke Lemart. All right, next, should Nottingham extend the tram again? It's a debate that's been going on ever since a survey this week showed only about a quarter of you want to see more lines, even though most people are happy with how the current service is going. The idea split the panel in half on the Notts TV debate today. Take a look at this.
No, I don't think probably West Bridgford is the most deserving area in the county, so possibly not there, but other useful places. It's great for the economy, it's great for moving people around, and it's a really great thing that Nottingham has that other cities don't have.
But I know we have many miles of tram line, but unless you do live fairly near to it, there's thousands, tens of thousands of folks still in the city that don't really consider it part of their public transport plan.
Like me.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't see it as flexible. You know, if
it's on rails.
Yeah, that's right. And if communities change and move on, I just don't quite see why not just buy more buses. And I know you can have green buses, so it can't be an environmental thing. But I there must be a reason why years ago I was in Edinburgh a few years ago when they'd just finished ripping it up and they were putting it back down. And something about the inflexibility of it just I don't quite get.
And you can see the rest of that and watch the Notts TV debate in its entirety from 8:30 tonight on Notts TV. I'm going to come to you, sir. What do you think? Would you like to see the tram extended, and if so, where to?
I think it should be extended. The reason for that is to deal with a number of issues that we've got in our community.
Yeah.
The number one reason why there's a lot of youths that are involved in knife crime, gang culture, is because of boredom.
Right.
Now, by extending the tram, it will provide jobs and opportunities, and it will also provide skills, transferable skills, useful skills for the next generation.
But only 1 in 4 people in the county currently want an extension. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because of the impact that it can have on the environment. And I also believe that it's the case of they don't quite understand what benefits it's going to bring to our city. And also, you know, we're seeing a lot of global warming, and we need to reduce the amount of fossil fuels that we're actually burning, and we need to be looking at alternative provisions.
How do you get around, Catherine? Do you use a tram?
Unfortunately, no. I've only ever been on a tram twice. But I know a lot of people come to the museum do use it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them tell me that they use the tram for, again, as you say, a bit about boredom. Just get on a tram, let it go, jump off, get on another one, and something to amuse themselves during the day. So keep it, but I'm not sure about extending it.
You're not sure about extending it? How come?
No, I don't want to lose any more countryside. Thanks.
Really? What do you make of the affordability of the tram? Because you say about getting the youth on it, but sometimes it can be quite expensive if you're using it on a regular basis. Do you think that's something that should be addressed or not?
It's something that needs to be looked at. But at the end of the day, you know, what you put in, you must get back out. So it costs money for that project to be done, and it needs to make financial sense.
Yeah. If the tram were to extend, if it was to be confirmed that it was going to extend, where would you like to see it go to? Would you like the airport, for example?
I think it'd be nice to link it to Derby, to be honest.
Yeah.
Go as far as Derby and link the two cities. So then it means that in terms of people that can't drive, they're able to get on a tram and just go across.
You mentioned about getting young people employed, and that would, of course, open up many more opportunities because it means you could hop on the tram and go to a completely different city and there's even more jobs available. Do you agree with that, Catherine?
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. But I also like your idea of taking it to the airport. But please don't do it yet, because there's already a lot of work going on the road around there, and as a car driver, go slow. But yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. We get more people coming to see us in Nottingham, flying in. So yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll have to see. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled. Right. Where do you think future trams should run to? Text us and let us know. Start your message with the word "knots" and send your thoughts to 80818. Get in touch, why not? Next, shuttlecocks and rackets in the spotlight. Badminton's national finals have secured their future on the television. The fast-paced, adrenaline-fueled sport will feature on national telly for the next 4 years. But there's plenty of local clubs operating just for fun too, like this one in Beeston.
Set up the club because we had a few people who were interested in badminton, and that was about 6, maybe 7 years ago now, and it's really good. You know, everyone just wants to come down, have a laugh. It's not what's the word? It's not strict. Nobody will get on top of you if you miss a point or miss a shot, and you can either come if you've been playing badminton for years, or you can come if you just want to have a laugh and get to know new people.
Community feel. There's a real sense of community. It's a lot of fun. There's a variety of abilities, which means that you get a good change of games. Really, you get some really tough games where everyone's sort of at your level, and there's some where you feel like actually you're helping other people learn a bit more. So yeah, it's great. The variety, playing with different people, is really what I come for.
I think everyone is so nice here. There's so many different skill sets, really experienced people and still beginners as well, and there's no sort of discrepancy between everyone. Everyone just really gets on and lets you play, and then he's going to teach you, in fact, so it's quite nice.
You can play with all levels, and doubles is more interesting than singles because there's more shots you can play, and it's just the social side of it as well. The social side is really fun.
When I moved up to Nottingham, I didn't really know many people, and it's through clubs like this that I've got to know people and made some really good friends.
Special about badminton is you can just pick it up at any age and at any ability, so you can always get better. You're never an expert at anything, and it's just something that you can do all together. So you can either play in twos or you can play in fours, and we mostly play in doubles here, so you've always got somebody else that you can rely on. You're never on your own.
Owen Shipton's here with your spot, but first, Catherine was shamelessly bragging just a moment ago in regards to badminton. What did you say, Catherine?
I was county champion for a long time, singles. I'm very competitive. I can't bear somebody who might slow me down.
If you want to take Catherine on with a bit of badders, get in touch.
Yeah.
80818.
If any of the people in that piece were watching, throw down the gauntlet, Catherine.
I warn you about my wrist. I can do a good flick.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, we're used to dealing with top-notch spotting champions on Knots TV, so I'll book you in for Sports Week after we finished here, Catherine. All right.
Set me up as a challenge. I like that.
Let's do, we'll talk football now. Forest manager Aitor Karanka responded to criticism of Ben Brereton leading the Reds line.
As a manager, you always will be criticized, and because there will be people who say that he's ready, and people who said that he's not ready if he doesn't play. Maybe 1 year or 2 years later, he said that he didn't have opportunities. So I need to take the decision, and I know that Ben is a very good player. He's an academy player, a player who feels that this club, and is the kind of player that we have to bet, because he has a bright future, and the only way to improve him is to give him confidence.
Notts County now. After scoring at the weekend, Matt Tootle has decided to retire his slug celebration. Now, the only way to describe this celebration is if he kneeled down on the pitch and wiped his head along the floor, like a slug rolling along the floor. So what moves will he be pulling off if he scores against Mansfield this Saturday?
Dinosaur one. I'm good at the dinosaur. See. Could be anything. I'll have to put a bit of time into it, bit of thought, see what we do. Elliot, we actually did a new one on Saturday, Magnet and Steel. Me and Elliot from Max and Paddy we're Magnet and Steel, so we'll have a think. I'll keep you updated.
On to footballing matters. Tootle's Notts County will be playing Mansfield on Saturday. What is Stags manager David Flitcroft focusing on aside from that noise?
If you're in sport, you know you've got to deal with the press. You've got to deal with the social media. You've got to deal with the fans and the veracity of that at times. But all that is background noise. You know, when you actually strip it down, we've got to go there. And what happens on the green, what happens on the pitch, is the key factor. What instructions have they took the instructions on board? Are they doing that? Is there a clarity to what they're doing? And that's what we'll focus on.
All right, from one big East Midlands rivalry to another.
Yeah.
Varsity between the two universities is kicking off next month when there'll be loads of top-notch sport. Yesterday, a more under-the-radar rivalry went between the university's two climbing teams. Tiffany Higgins has got more.
Bouldering's one of Notts Varsity's more unusual sports. The universities are competing for the best climbers title. There's just one rule: they can only climb using the fluorescent grips. But why is this activity so popular?
Climbing's a good sport for a lot of people. It's a good way of progressing yourself a lot of the time. So it allows you to develop yourself. Like, it's a very individual sport. So for a lot of people, it's a good way of like strength training and like coordination training, but it's with yourself. I used to play rugby, but when I came to university, I was more about, I wanted something that was more casual. And for me, this is perfect. It's like you can come down on like a Monday or something and you can climb for as long as you want. And if you don't want to climb, you don't have to climb.
What can go wrong? Because obviously with like football and things, you can break your ankle. I feel like with this, with spongy.
I've seen someone break their ankle over there. They were on top of the wall and they came off the wall wrong. And these pads, like, they're secure, but it happens.
The competition might seem like it's a lot of fun, but competitors take the title very seriously.
We'll definitely have more people in the final than Trent, just for the quality of athlete we've got, but I think we do have more people in the club as well. So I think apart from snow sports, climbing is the biggest club in the whole of the ON, which is pretty big.
What would you say to like other students who need to come down and try this?
Oh, just come and have some fun. Come here, come to the RSV, have some fun on the wall. Yeah, it's always good times.
It looks like Uniov climbed to the top, grabbing victory. Tiff Higgins for Notts TV.
Thanks, Owen. Give us a dinosaur one last time. Stay with us when we come back. Should employers be allowed to ask you to work a trial shift for free? How's it going? Welcome back to the only show on TV dedicated to your incredible county 5 days a week. Joining me tonight are two top talkers. She's the Caribbean Queen. She's the founder of the National Caribbean Heritage Museum, the lovely Catherine Ross. And he's doing his bit to help get the youth of Notts into work. It's community hero, Lucia Van Lamar. All right, speaking of jobs, have you ever worked a shift for free? Well, some MPs and lawyers are calling for a ban on all unpaid shift work. Many companies invite potential employees in for a trial shift in a bid to suss them out for free before offering a full-time position. MPs say businesses are using this as a way of getting free labour. Catherine, what do you think?
I think they should do that because as an
You
employer,
think they should ban it?
No, they should give some time. Shows their commitment. It's quite expensive when you go through the recruitment process, so you want to make sure you get it right. And also, so you want to make sure that you've made the right decision when you did.
Do you not think it takes advantage of people a little bit?
No, because if they're committed, they'll want to do their best. They want to get started as quickly as possible and so on, get to meet their new colleagues. No, I think it's a win-win.
What do you think, Lucia?
I don't believe in exploitation.
Let's get a debate going here. Let's get a heated debate.
Exploitation shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to agree in the fact that I think that it's a great way to recruit people, but you shouldn't take advantage. And I think there's a lot of that going on. And I think that there needs to be commitment from both sides, from the employee and from the employer.
Yeah. Do you think that there is, it's an opportunity for the potential employee as well to get a feel for whether or not they want the opportunity, Catherine?
Yeah, the job itself, because it could be slightly different to how it's been built, but also your team that you'll be working with, because relationships matter.
Talk to us a little bit about your apprenticeship scheme and how you get people into work. Do you ever have any of your young people doing any free shifts to kick you off?
Yeah, so the way we recruit is we start off on work experience. As a business, you've got to look at the financial side of it, and it's very hard to be able to recruit somebody if the numbers aren't making financial sense.
Yeah.
So as a business, it's very challenging for us to take on staff, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to take on staff too early and then have to let them go. But once you've kind of got over that hurdle, it's great. I think that apprenticeships are very important. I think that...
Why do you think apprenticeships are so important? And do you think it's a viable option? Do you think people should maybe look at apprenticeships if they don't fancy further education?
Absolutely. I think the great thing about apprenticeships is you're getting on-site learning, on-site training. So at the end of that, the chance of you getting employed is a lot greater.
Yeah.
If you go the academic route, it's great, but you need to be looking at cost against value.
Yeah. What do you think, Catherine? Do you think you're better off getting hands-on or getting your head in a book?
Yeah, I started my career hands-on. Yeah, so I agree with that. Especially if you love the job, you've had some training, you know what you want to do. Get in there and get on with it.
There are certain careers though, aren't there? If you've got a dream to work in a certain profession, for example, I always wanted to get into broadcasting. So I knew that the only route I could take really to get to a level that I wanted to be at was to go through education and go through university. And there are obviously many pluses to being a university student as well.
Yes, there is, but I think the way the educational system sees things, it's a case of if you're an academic, you're going to go far in life. But apprenticeships are just as important. They're both important ways of learning, because there's different types of learning. And the way you learn in school is one type of learning. And I think that people have downplayed apprenticeships for far too long.
Cool. So there's room for both, of course.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think? Would you work for free if you thought it would get you the job you want? You can tell us your opinions and we'll get them read out for you on this show. Just text us 80818 and start your message with the word NOTS. Next, if you're a fan of a cheeky tipple, you won't want to miss this one. The chance to try a one-of-a-kind tequila right here in NOTS. El Capo in the city centre is the first bar in the Midlands to stock their own specially selected barrel or Herradura tequila, so we went along for a taste.
Now, whether you love tequila or loathe it, you only have a short time to have a taste of this unique barrel that's come all the way from Mexico. Herradura Tequila launched their By the Barrel programme in the UK in 2016, and since then there has only been one other barrel shipped here.
It is the second one in the country, but this tequila, once it's finished, it's finished. There will never be another drop that is the same, because the barrel that it's finished in will never be used for any other tequila. So in that case, you will not be able to go to the street and buy this. If you want to sample it, it's the only time is to come to El Capo and try it.
Each barrel holds enough of the spirit to fill 240 personalised bottles, and the tequila itself was personally chosen by the owner of El Capo.
So you probably want to select your barrel. You've got a few choices there, there's 6 choices. You taste. You figure out what you want to get from the barrel, really. I went for the lower end because I thought, well, the smoother end, because I wanted my customers to enjoy it. I wanted it to be almost like a gateway tequila. And it was an amazing experience, amazing product, and I thought, bringing something back to the public here would be quite special.
So let me just get this right. You got to go to Mexico to try out this tequila.
Yeah. I don't remember much of it. The first couple of days were sort of clean cut. We went to the hacienda. It was amazing. Met the master distiller. That alone was an experience. It was just unreal.
But not only does the bar get the spirit itself delivered from Mexico, they get something else as well.
This is the finishing barrel. As part of the program, we would like to send the finishing barrel over to the customer that bought it, in this case El Capo, and that is just a piece of tequila history, really, because that's what their product is finished in. So every barrel that's purchased, the finishing barrel gets sent along with a certification of authenticity that is signed by the master distiller.
And let's face it, that barrel looks like it'd make a pretty cool piece of furniture. Danielle Hall for Notts TV.
Right, from tequila made in Mexico to gin made right here in Nottinghamshire. This man to the left of me is called Wayne Asher from Redsmith Distillery. He's been working on a special gin that uses a very local ingredient called the Bramley apple. The original Bramley apple tree was planted in Southwell more than 200 years ago and is the originator of the modern Bramley apples. It's a gin, Wayne says, hasn't been made commercially since the 1950s. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Why are you bringing this back now then, in 2018?
Well, I like to... The Redsmith London Dry Gin's been on sale for 2 years now, almost 2 years, and I thought it was time that we added to the range, if you like, and make sort of a truly Nottingham product. So, doing some research on gin, I came across apple gin that no longer made, but it was popular in the past, and it was made until the 1950s, I believe. So I thought apple gin, apples, Bramley apples, Nottingham, it all seemed to work very, very nicely, I thought. So
it must have been a nice favour for you, because I imagine if you're ever going to create anything, any form of a new product, you need to find your little niche. You need to find what makes your item special.
That's
and
right.
to find an item that is so synonymous with Nottinghamshire must have felt really good.
It was, yes. It sort of, like I say, it fitted together so well, and it's proved very, very popular. The first batch sold out pretty much instantly, really. So this is the only bottle I've got left. So it's a tasting bottle from the distillery. So
should we crack it open?
Yes, by all means. Yes.
Are you a gin drinker?
Not really. No, I'm not really. No.
Not until now.
Not until now. Things can change.
It's my tipple.
Is it?
I love gin.
Have you ever had an apple gin?
No, never had that. I'm on the pink gins.
Pink gin's very popular, isn't it, just now? Yes,
love it. And the elderflower.
So talk us through some of the flavours that we can expect to pick up here. Obviously, Bramley apple is going to be strong.
The base gin is very similar to the London Dry Gin that I make. It's a slightly simplified version of that. It's got less spiciness in it, so it allows the apple to come through to a greater extent. I'm
so excited to taste it. Before I do, as I said, the first ever Bramley apple tree is in Southwell, but it is on the verge of dying. However, as we reported late last year, could actually be saved thanks to Nottingham Trent University. We spoke to Rod Mortimer, who is the Dean of Rural Science at NTU.
It's about 200 years old. It's the original Bramley apple tree, so it's effectively the ancestor for all Bramley apple trees, one of the most important fruit trees in the country, the nation's favourite cooking apple tree. It's reaching its natural life expectancy, so it's the same as a person reaching kind of 95, so it won't go on forever. We will be doing grafts of the tree, I'm sure, and planting them at Brackenhurst, but we'll get the horticulture staff and students to have a look at the tree and see what else can be done for the tree, and then we'll also open up the garden periodically so that the public can come and see the tree itself. It's an important part of the local heritage, so we tell the story of where food comes from on campus in our courses, in our research. We think about sustainability of food as the population grows in the future, and this is a really good historic example of where food comes from, really good example to tell the students and also talk to the public about food in general.
Long live the Bramley apple tree in Southwell. I've been before, and it is a truly iconic tree. Have you been yet?
I've not been, no, but it's a list of some things I need to do really soon. I'd like to see it when it's in blossom, sort of slightly later on in the year. But no, I must go and see it. Yes, really must.
Right, you poured out the drinks. Should we have a bit of a taste test, guys? Should we do this?
Yes, let's have
Let's cheers to the Bramley apple tree. Long live the Bramley apple tree.
Cheers to the Bramley apple tree.
And we'll have a bit of a taste. I'll let you go first, Catherine. What are you saying? Look at that.
Moreish.
Moreish!
Move the bottle this side.
It's really quite nice. Even though I say so myself, it really is quite nice, isn't it? Yes. Yeah.
Lovely.
That is really nice. And the thing is, with apple gin, what type of tonic do you need to get with it? Or can you mix it up a little bit?
I always say with not only this gin, but with the other gin, the London Dry gin that I make, try whatever tonic water you fancy.
Right.
I think this apple gin, it is quite a delicate sort of flavour, so a lighter tonic is preferable, I would say.
Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be back after a short break. See you in a sec. Welcome back to the show, the only show on telly with a sole focus on where you live. Joining me tonight are two vocal locals. She's that proud of where she's from, she travels the UK shouting about it. It's the owner of the National Caribbean Heritage Museum, Catherine Ross. Look at that, she loves it. And he wants to help tackle deprivation, antisocial behaviour and poverty in local Notts communities. It's the lovely Lucia Van Lamard. Right, now Twitter went into meltdown over the past couple of days after a shock confession from a music icon that rocked the world. It was a fact that's been concealed for 18 years, almost 2 decades of a lie. Legendary reggae artist Shaggy released his hit classic It Wasn't Me back in the year 2000, but reportedly confessed to his actions in this alleged tweet. Take a look at this. It read, "Can't live a lie anymore, it was me." But after thousands of likes and retweets, it turns out the tweet was fake. So yet another lie, it wasn't Shaggy. Will we ever know the truth? Either way, what an excuse for you to make a confession. Take it away.
I'd like to confess that I should go to the gym, but I don't. I'd like to confess to being strangely comfortable wearing this outfit.
In the 1970s, it was a long time ago, showing my age, I took my pocket money and my brother's pocket money and I spent the entire lot on accessories for a doll, Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man.
I'd like to confess that I feel slightly sexy, to be honest.
Yeah. I started to cough and I picked a serviette up, put it to my mouth, put the meat in the mouth as if I was coughing, and then what I did was I had to put it in my pocket under the table, and then at the end I went, well, what a lovely meal.
We're confessing that
we love the Dots! Woo! We love the Dots! Absolutely incredible confessions there, right? We've all done it. We're not saying anything serious here. We've all done those things that maybe we've hidden up until this point right now, live on the TV, and I think it is time for some confessions. Catherine, what do you want to confess to?
I'm a chocoholic.
Oh,
and
right.
I have
Catherine's a chocoholic.
but I'm one of those people that keep it in the fridge because I like it hard and whatever.
Yeah.
So when I get down first thing in the morning, take a chunk off. By the time the toast is done and whatever, I'm already out.
First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning.
How do your taste buds act chocolate like at 7 in the morning?
It's chocolate. It wakes you up, it livens you, it sets you up for the day.
Come on then, let's hear it. What's your confession, Lucia? What you got?
My confession is it's to do with my mum.
Okay.
She always used to make me tea every single morning, and I made out that I really liked it, and I didn't, but I couldn't bother to make it myself.
What, a cup of tea, you mean?
Yeah, a cup of tea.
Oh.
I know, it's bad.
How long did you have to put up with that?
About 10 years.
As a Yorkshireman, right, I can't go 2 days with a bad cup of tea, so 10 years is pretty impressive. How do you take it?
White, no sugar.
White, no sugar. Right, somebody get this man a nice cup of tea. He's gone 10 years sipping on some rubbish stuff. All right, let's get some more news from across the county. Earlier on, Owen Shipton spoke to Richard Tressida from the Nottingham Post.
Well, first of all, Metro Bank. Metro Bank was set up in 2010 by Vernon Hill, an American. Rather an odd time to set up a bank in this country, but as we know, the banks were in trouble, many of the banks were in trouble, and Vernon Hill takes the view that banks should be open about the same time as Starbucks or McDonald's. So we're getting a branch in Nottingham. We don't know where the premises will be. What distinguishes it is it's going to be open between 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening during the week, something like 8 and 6 on a Saturday, and open on Sunday as well.
Well, as you say, 2010, right after the financial crisis, is a very, very bizarre time to start a chain of banks. It seems like they want to do things differently.
I think that the interesting thing is that they saw an opportunity. The big banks were not in favour at the time, and the thing to do was to open a bank of their own. And Metro Banks, it's growing. They've got something like 50 branches. The nearest one to here is Cambridge, but they are picking up market share. So 17% of businesses, SMEs, small and medium-sized businesses that change banks in the southeast, London the southeast, will go to Metro Bank. So they've got a name, a brand awareness already, and they're picking up business. And if I can just give you some idea, they're creating 25 jobs in Nottingham, and they reported their results recently. So they are making profits of something 20.8 million. They employ already 3,000 people in this country, and recently, their recent results showed that they'd recruited 302,000 customers, taking the number of customers to 1.2 million. So they're coming to Nottingham.
And you can go on a Sunday instead of wasting your lunch break.
You can go on a Sunday and don't have to queue at NatWest.
Yeah. Perfect. Your next story is...
Well, I thought this is interesting. We always think that offices are in a city centre, and I've never thought of Carrington as a place for offices. But Kim and Alex Gammon have opened, sisters have opened, converted a Victorian warehouse or building in Carrington on Oak Street into shared office space for co-workers. Now, I think that's a very unlikely location because it will be a bit cheaper. It's off-centre, and it shows that people, they don't necessarily want to come into town with high transport costs. They are happy to go to somewhere near where they live. And of course, Carrington's got two nice features. They've got Cod Scallops, there's a restaurant down there, and Doctor's Orders. So Carrington is on the up.
Soon there'll be everything you need, work and play in Carrington.
We'll be going to Carrington.
Brilliant. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard Tressida, what a legend. Today is World Consumer Right Day, a day dedicated to ensuring that future products you buy online or anywhere else are exactly as you expect them to be. No surprises. Protecting yourself from online cybercrime and scams are two themes for this year. When have you exercised your consumer rights?
I brought some soup shoes, but in the end I didn't actually need them because I didn't feel I have any use for them. So I think it's perfectly fine to go back and be like, these aren't going to be used by me.
I think buying clothes online and expecting them to be a certain way and then them being a certain way when they arrive, I'd say that's the main one that comes to mind. Just either they don't fit right or look differently or feel cheaper than I was expecting them.
I returned some clothes because I wasn't happy with what they were described as. They were different compared to how they actually were.
Today we brought a toaster that we didn't think we was going to buy today because it was...
We've come down for a pair of ladies' shoes. Right, and we're going back with a toaster.
Luke Chavan, I'm going to come to you first. When did you last flex your consumer rights muscles? And do you, when you need to?
Yes, I do. When I was younger, I ordered an Xbox.
Yeah?
And someone sent me a box with an X on it.
Oh! Did you get that?
Oh.
That's a story in itself. Was it on eBay or something?
It was on eBay, yeah.
How did you deal with that? How did you go forward with that?
Well, I tried to dispute it, but because I bought it on a credit card, I managed to get my money back from the bank.
Yeah.
But the actual consumer themselves didn't give me my money back.
Really?
So, yeah.
So when you're browsing the images of this Xbox box with an X on it, was the pictures of an actual Xbox?
Yes, there was a picture of an actual Xbox.
Because I've heard that if you buy something that you think was something else, but if the photographs prove that it wasn't, they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But you got the hook, line and sinker there, didn't you?
Yeah.
But you got your money back, so that's all right. Catherine, yourself?
Yeah, in the old days when I was a new housewife and homemaker, I used to have to live simply, and I bought a tin of corned beef.
Yeah.
And when you finally got it out of the tin, there was some blue dye on it.
Blue
so
dye?
I thought, yeah. So I thought, oh, what's this? So I took it to the shop and they said, oh, it shows it came from an animal because it's got the blue tie that they marked the beef with.
Right.
So that's what it means, it's real beef. Well, I wasn't so sure about that. They sent me a nice letter. They never replaced my tin of corned beef, though. So my children and I starved.
You're all right. You look great to me. This is one of them, isn't it, where it's quite easy when things maybe don't go to plan when you order something online, especially if it's not super expensive, to just ignore it. But I think that you should really flex your consumer rights, shouldn't you?
Absolutely. I would recommend anyone, if you're buying anything online, make sure you use a credit card and do not use your debit card, because you'll find it hard to be compensated for what you've bought.
Is that what you learned from your experience?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I've found that if I've bought things off my debit card, I've found it hard to be reimbursed for the charges that I've made.
Well, did you ever get your actual Xbox?
No.
You never got an Xbox?
No, I didn't get one in the end. I got a PlayStation in the end. I was
well,
scarred.
not too bad then. Not too bad. All right, now you may well know that Catherine here emigrated to Nottingham back in the 50s from the Caribbean island of St. Kitts. She was 7 at the time, so I'm sure she's well used to these chilly UK winters by now. Catherine celebrates her heritage and culture for a living all across the UK with pop-up museums and exhibitions. That's ace, but why, if anybody's watching, you might have seen your exhibitions themselves. That's all well and good seeing it on home turf, but why should we go to the Caribbean?
Why should you go? It's warming, so it will warm you up a little bit. It's so colourful. You walk there and you suddenly feel 10 years younger. So, you know, go for relaxation, rest and all of that. And there's some gorgeous people out there.
Oh yeah, like you, I imagine.
There's some gorgeous people out there, so it's really nice to see that. But it's a variety of fruits and things and foods that you can eat that's a bit different. So even though you can pop down to a Caribbean takeaway, there's something missing, and I think that's the sunshine. It hasn't quite gone through it.
Do you think it's a good destination to go on holiday, Lucha? Because you've been before, right? Whereabouts have you been?
So I've been St. Lucia. That's where. So my mother's side of the family are St. Lucian and my dad's side is Jamaican. I think that travelling is very important.
Yeah.
It deals with ignorance.
Do you agree? What do you mean? So, hold on. It deals with ignorance, you say?
Ignorance.
Yeah. Why do you think that?
Because if you go on YouTube or if you see music videos on television, you see the Caribbean, it looks like a great place to go, lots of money, but in reality there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of deprivation, there's a number of real issues out there, and I think it's great to kind of see what's out there, and it makes you appreciate what you've got back home in the UK. So,
in a nutshell, people watching should go to the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For culture and weather.
For culture and weather. That's all we've got time for today. Massive thanks to my guests this evening. You've been awesome. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.